The gunshots pierced through the night like thunder. Officer Martinez pressed his back against the cold metal of his patrol car, his heart hammering against his ribs. The acrid smell of gunpowder filled his nostrils as he tried to steady his breathing. This wasn't how his first week was supposed to go. Just 30 minutes earlier, he'd been driving through the quiet residential streets, thinking about his academy graduation, about his mother's proud tears, about the promise he'd made to serve and protect. The radio had crackled with a routine call. Silent alarm at a convenience store on 5th Street. Nothing unusual. Nothing that should have led to this. But when he'd arrived at the scene, everything changed in an instant. The suspect had been waiting, armed and desperate. The first shot shattered his windshield before he could even step out of his vehicle. Now he was pinned down, alone in the darkness, with no backup in sight. His radio crackled again, and through the static came a voice that would change everything. Unit 9, this is dispatch. Officer Martinez, can you hear me? The voice was calm, steady, completely at odds with the chaos surrounding him. It belonged to a woman, someone he'd never met, someone whose face he couldn't picture, but whose presence suddenly filled the empty space around him. I can hear you, he managed to whisper into his radio, his voice shaking. Good. My name is Sarah. I'm going to stay with you through this, okay? You're not alone. Another shot rang out, closer this time. Martinez flinched, pressing himself further against the car. The suspect was moving, trying to get a better angle. He's getting closer, Martinez breathed into the radio. I know. I can see your location on my screen. But listen to me carefully. Backup is 2 minutes out. I need you to stay exactly where you are. Don't move. Don't try to be a hero. Just breathe with me. There was something in her voice, an unshakable confidence that seemed to cut through his terror. She wasn't there, couldn't see what he was seeing, couldn't smell the fear in the air or feel the cold sweat on his skin. But somehow, she was more present than anyone had ever been. Tell me about your training, she said, her voice steady in his ear. What did they teach you about cover and concealment? Stay low. Use the engine block for protection. Wait for backup, he recited automatically, the familiar words grounding him. Perfect. You remember. Now I need you to check your surroundings without exposing yourself. Can you see any other cover if you need to move? Martinez carefully peered around the edge of his vehicle. Across the street was a large oak tree. To his left, a brick wall. His mind began to work again, pushing through the fear. There's a tree about 20 yards to my right, and a wall to my left, he reported. Good. That's your backup plan. But for now, stay put. Your backup is 60 seconds out. The night seemed to stretch endlessly. Every shadow could hide danger. Every sound could signal the end. But Sarah's voice remained constant, a lighthouse in the storm. Tell me why you became a police officer, she said, and he could hear the gentle smile in her voice. My father was a cop. He died in the line of duty when I was 12. The words came out without his permission, raw and honest. He'd be proud of you right now. You're doing everything right. I'm scared, he admitted, the words barely audible. That's okay. Fear keeps you alive, but you're not letting it control you. That's courage. The sound of sirens began to filter through the night air, growing stronger. Martinez felt his shoulders relax slightly. I can hear them, he said. Me too. 30 seconds now. Just hold on. The suspect, hearing the approaching sirens, made his move. Martinez saw the figure darting between shadows, trying to escape. His instinct was to pursue, to prove himself, to be the hero. "Don't," Sarah's voice cut through his thoughts, as if she could read his mind. "Let them handle it. Your job right now is to stay alive." The backup units arrived in a symphony of flashing lights and controlled chaos. Within minutes, the suspect was in custody, the scene was secure, and Martinez was safe. But even as the adrenaline began to fade, he couldn't stop thinking about the voice that had guided him through the darkness. The next morning, Martinez walked into the police station with a different perspective. The world felt sharper, more real. He'd faced death and lived to tell about it, but more importantly, he'd learned something about the invisible threads that connect people in moments of crisis. He found himself walking toward the dispatch center, a place he'd never really noticed before. Through the glass windows, he could see rows of desks, each equipped with multiple monitors and headsets. The dispatchers sat focused on their screens, fielding calls, coordinating responses, being the voice in the darkness for officers across the city. "Can I help you?" asked a supervisor, noticing him standing there. "I'm looking for Sarah. She was my dispatcher last night during the incident on 5th Street. The supervisor's expression softened. "Third desk from the left. She's been asking about you all morning." Martinez walked over, his footsteps echoing in the quiet room. The woman at the third desk had her back to him, her dark hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. She was speaking softly into her headset, guiding another officer through another crisis with the same calm confidence he remembered from the night before. When she finished the call and turned around, their eyes met. She was younger than he'd expected, maybe late 20s, with intelligent brown eyes and a gentle smile. But there was something else in her expression, a depth that came from years of holding people together when their world was falling apart. "Officer Martinez," she said, standing up, "I was hoping you'd come by." "I wanted to thank you," he said, suddenly feeling inadequate. "How do you thank someone for saving your life without ever leaving their chair?" "You don't need to thank me. That's what we do. But you stayed with me. Through all of it. I could have died out there, and you made sure I didn't face it alone." Sarah's smile widened. "That's the job. We're the voice in the darkness, the constant in the chaos. When officers are out there facing the worst of humanity, we're here making sure they know they're not alone." Martinez looked around the dispatch center with new eyes. Each desk represented countless calls, countless moments of crisis, countless lives touched by voices in the darkness. These weren't just people answering phones. They were lifelines, invisible heroes who fought battles without ever leaving their posts. "How do you do it?" he asked. "How do you stay so calm when everything is falling apart?" Training helps, but mostly it's about remembering that on the other end of that radio is a human being who needs me to be strong for them. When you're scared, I have to be brave. When you're lost, I have to be your compass. When you're facing the worst moment of your life, I have to be the voice that reminds you that you're going to make it through. And you do this every day, every night, every holiday. We're always here, always listening, always ready to be whatever you need us to be. Martinez felt a profound respect wash over him. In the academy, they talked about the thin blue line, about the brotherhood of officers who stood between order and chaos. But he'd never fully understood that the line extended beyond the streets into quiet rooms filled with people who fought their battles with words instead of weapons. "What made you want to become a dispatcher?" he asked. Sarah's expression grew thoughtful. "My brother was a firefighter. He died in a warehouse fire 5 years ago. His last words were to his dispatcher, thanking her for staying with him. I realized that day that there are different ways to serve, different ways to save lives. I couldn't run into burning buildings or chase down criminals, but I could be the voice that guides the people who do. I'm sorry about your brother. Thank you." He taught me that heroism isn't just about the people who run toward danger. It's also about the people who make sure they don't run alone. As Martinez prepared to leave, Sarah called out to him, "Officer Martinez, next time you're out there, remember, you're never alone. We're always here, always listening, always ready to guide you home." He nodded, understanding for the first time that his job wasn't just about what he did on the streets. It was about being part of something bigger, a network of people dedicated to protecting others. And at the heart of that network were voices like Sarah's, calm, steady, unwavering in their commitment to bring everyone home safely. Walking back to his patrol car, Martinez felt different. The badge on his chest seemed heavier, more meaningful. He was no longer just a rookie cop trying to prove himself. He was part of a family, connected by invisible threads to dispatchers, supervisors, fellow officers, and the community they all served. That night, as he started his shift, his radio crackled to life. "Unit 9, this is dispatch. Have a safe shift out there." It was Sarah's voice, and he smiled. "Copy that. Dispatch. Thank you for having my back." "Always do, Unit 9. Always do." And in those simple words, Martinez heard the promise that had sustained law enforcement for generations, that no matter how dark the night gets, no matter how dangerous the situation becomes, there will always be a voice in the darkness, ready to guide the guardians home. The city slept peacefully that night, protected by officers on the streets and dispatchers in their chairs, all connected by the invisible threads of service, sacrifice, and the unwavering belief that everyone deserves to make it home safely. In the dispatch center, Sarah put on her headset and prepared for another night of being the voice in the darkness. Because somewhere out there, another officer would need guidance, another person would need saving, and another life would depend on the calm, steady voice that promised they were never alone. This is the story of the heroes you never see, the voices you only hear in your darkest moments, and the invisible threads that hold us all together when the world threatens to fall apart. They are the dispatchers, the voices in the darkness, and they are always there, always listening, always ready to guide us home.